I will say this. I did tell.
All right. Welcome to
Sorry.
Cult Fiction. No, it's all right. Welcome to Cult Fiction. You are joining a conversation in progress. The plan this week was to talk about the Acolyte, which is the new Star Wars series, starring Amandla Stenberg, and we are now having a conversation about why women in shows are allowed to be fat, but boys are not. This is the conversation that we're having
I
because
don't even think that.
this is not, let me just get this out. This is not unique to Star Wars Acolyte, where Amandla Stenberg is on the heavy side, and whatever. This is a systemic thing that has been happening. Looking back to I think we brought up Iron Fist. The female lead in Iron Fist was a term called skinny fat, which is where you are skinny but you have the plastic fatness.
Like you have a thin frame, but with
Yeah,
elastic skin.
Wait, hold on. I have to cut you off. It's not that this woman is even remotely heavy.
She's not. I'm looking at pictures of her.
She's not. You see, and that's my thing. I don't think she's heavy.
Well, no. She's not built like Yond, the Jedi.
Okay, so Yond, yeah.
That dude looks like Bruce Lee.
Right. He's chiseled.
Out of Grant.
He's chiseled.
Yeah,
and that seems to be like a common theme in a lot of shows where the guy is chiseled. He's put time and effort into building his physique, but the female actress just shows up, right? She doesn't.
I think before we started recording, Eric made a really solid point with the Eternals, because you have, and I can't remember his name, but all the guys in that show were in really good shape. But you mainly had the one actor that you were talking about,
Tom Gianni.
Yeah, he got in phenomenal shape for the Eternals, and he was on the cover of GQ and all kinds of other magazines. And because it's a superhero movie, and we have this preconceived notion of what superheroes look like, right? Of what guys look like. And then you have Angelina Jolie, who is a twig. She's a beautiful woman. I'm not trying to dog shit Angelina Jolie whatsoever. But if you're like looking at somebody and going, wow, they have an impressive physique, that ain't it, dude. Like Carl Majani, like the guy looks like he could punch through a brick wall. Angelina Jolie doesn't look like she could punch through a pack of toothpicks.
And then he wore a suit that you couldn't even tell. And the irony of this, and I think I've said this before to you guys, is and I give credit where credit's due. I know she gets a lot of shit. Brie Larson works her ass off. People hate on Brie Larson.
She's in great shape. Yeah.
And then she wears a suit that you can't even tell how hard she works. So that to me is crazy.
They disguised it, dude. They disguised it.
So Gus asked where this comes from. Why is this the case where guys, if they're going to play a superhero, and this isn't just like superheroes, and this isn't just recent, like look at 300, right?
Right.
Go way back to 300. Those guys were carved out of wood, and they worked hard to get like that. But it does seem to be a common thing, a common thing that female action actresses do not have to do that.
Well, I think 300 in that lore, like it kind of makes sense because the guys were the warriors, the women weren't the warriors. Like there it works, but when you have a superhero on screen and you want the male physique to look like a superhero, why don't you want a female superhero to also be an impressive specimen? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I think we can roll that back even further, and this could be a discussion for a different podcast if you want. But if we want to get really break it down, why does Superman have muscles? The guy has zero reason to be as buff as he is. In order to build muscles, you have to tear them down.
That's why a lot of people felt like that Christopher Reeve had the perfect Superman physique. He was 6'4". He had muscles, but like he wasn't,
he wasn't swole.
Yeah.
Right.
He wasn't. Yeah, he didn't look like Chris Hemsworth and stuff like that. Because it's like, how much would he have to lift?
Yeah.
To get the muscle tear to actually gain muscle mass.
Right. He's out there with trains like.
That's like is it the Incredibles touched on that when Dad got back into shape?
Right.
Like when he wanted to go be a superhero again, he could still do all the superhero shit, but he didn't look like one. So he went out and started pulling trains around and stuff to get the superhero body. But that's, I guess that could be a discussion for another time. But like, yeah, I mean, it is kind of jarring when you think about it like that. Like, we need to have our superhero guys, our action guys, be these big, except for Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis has always been a believable action hero, even though he's never been a big dude.
But
Right.
But with him, he's the exception. You know, if you look at like Wesley Snipes or Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all those guys, they're all these phenomenal in shape dudes. And then if you look at a female counterpart, like maybe she's not a good example because now I can't remember, but Charlize Theron in The Old Guard, was she super ripped?
dude, she gets really fit. She gets
Right.
really
fit. No, she could be fit, but was she fit in The Old Guard? I can't remember right now.
I don't know this movie.
I don't know.
But why don't the female ones look like female UFC fighters?
But I don't.
Why don't a similar type build where they look like they could show you their muscles and you'd be like, oh, there's some biceps there.
So that goes back to Gus's original question: is where does it come from?
I got a reason why. I got a reason why, and then I got to hit on Joe's thing first. Hit on Joe's. I'm of the opinion that Charles Bronson, who, if you pull up some pictures of Bronson, you're like, damn, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, Clint Eastwood. There's a few others, which I like to term like the everyman tough guy, right?
Yeah.
Like the everyman tough guy, right? Those characters, if it were now, if it were Dirty Harry, if it were Hard Times, if it were Die Hard, and I'll even say too with Brad Pitt and Fight Club, if those movies were made in the present day, they would not be an everyman tough guy.
Now, Brad Pitt was chiseled in Fight Club.
Brad Pitt was pretty yoked.
Yeah, but yeah,
Ed Norton wasn't though.
But Ed Norton wasn't, and a lot of he was pretty. Yeah, he went alpha hard. So I'll pull that one out. But like, no, that's fair. 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
So
man. 75% gets you past.
I think what Gus is saying, I think what you guys are missing. I think what Gus is saying, if you, I don't know if people remember what Bronson looked like in his heyday, and what Clint Eastwood looked like in his heyday. Those two guys were every bit as they were chiseled like Brad Pitt, but just had more muscle mass.
Dude, Bronson was a monster. I just saw a picture of him recently.
Monster, dude.
Huge.
Right.
I believe at one point he was a coal miner by trade.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Like starting at like 12 years old, no less.
Yeah.
Like old-fashioned man muscles, not this like, what do you do for a living? I'm a man.
Yeah.
Where do you work out? I'm a man. I get up in the morning, I look at myself, I'm a man, I hit it.
I do man stuff.
And then to Eric's point about why it's okay for the gals that are superheroes to have freshman 15s, I'm going to put on my conspiracy theory hat, which I wear every day. I would just put it on.
Yeah, look at that. Look at Charles Bronson. He's carved out of wood. Come on.
That's every bit as chiseled as Brad Pitt or whoever ever was.
So and that's pictures of him with a shirt off too, just like
dude. And that's before all the stuff that people even knew about fitness that we know now.
Right.
Watch Hard Times, and you will want to go work out.
So what's your theory, Gus?
Oh, it'll affect the bottom line of Starbucks. Straight up, no. Okay, so women drink more caffeinated beverages, which are basically now. No, it's a real deal. Women drink more caffeinated beverages. I'm sorry, I'm ruining.
I think we lost Joe. We lost
the ride.
No,
I'm coming along with you for the ride.
Women drink more caffeinated beverages by 33%. 67% of the caffeinated beverages at Starbucks, at places like Starbucks, whatever, are female. We could talk about salad dressing too. That's a different deal, but I'd have to get the book to drop the numbers. But so salad dressing's a thing too. So like, it's going to weigh like all of these corporate fuckos that make movies sit on the same boards as these other corporate fuckos that peddle seed oils and peddle lattes that are actually milkshakes, and there's like 90 grams of fucking sugar in your mochaccino, and there's enough seed oil to fucking, challenge Saudi Arabia for oil independence. And so like, if the gals were like, damn, I'd like to like I'd like to cut a little bit out, but oh, I see, I see so-and-so input whoever, right? Unless they're on the unless they're the Marvel team, right? Unless they're the Marvel team, you could pack a couple extra LBs and they're like, oh, but it's okay. Whoever, give me a name, because I don't know this.
Brie Larson.
Angelina Jolie. No, Brie Larson's in good shape. We already covered that.
Yeah, Brie Larson's fit, right?
I thought you were saying good shape.
She's doing 1,000 flutter kicks a morning, straight up.
I thought you were
I'm
looking
only
for
at 100, but like, so it's all part of the thing, right? It's all part of the thing of it's okay, body positivity.
So you're blaming big food. Okay. It's big food.
I'm blaming big food. Big food indictment is going down, baby.
That's
just right.
I got a less conspiratorial suggestion. Studios are a lot less comfortable with telling women what to do with their bodies or how they should look than they were about 15 years ago.
Because they'll stop.
And we are in a position where there are a lot more female action stars than there were 15 years ago. So what you have is you have a lot of studios who are having a shit ton of female action stars while simultaneously not feeling comfortable to say get in shit, right? So what I think they're doing is like, so for like the Acolyte, what they'll probably do is they'll be like, you need lightsaber training, right? And they'll fucking do lightsaber training and they'll do this bullshit and all this kind of stuff and hope that they fucking get in shape and do that. And when the Brie Larsons of the world take it upon themselves to get in shape, they're just like, yes, oh, fuck, yeah, thank you. But a lot of them don't do that. And so I think what you have is an increase over the last 15 years of female action stars, while simultaneously the studios are far less likely, especially to put on paper or on voicemail or anything, telling women to get in shape. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think
so. I have a theory. I have a theory too. That's even less conspiratorial than that.
I have one too. When you're done.
Okay, you want to go first?
No, go ahead. You piped up.
So
first.
I think it's actually that that women are more likely to be attracted to chiseled men than men are to be attracted to chiseled women. I think that men generally tend to prefer women who are softer and curvier, and women tend to prefer men who are harder and more muscular. So it may be just a complete marketing from a complete marketing standpoint, that there's kind of a preference, like a type. What do you think, Joe?
I think it's just simple conditioning, man. I mean, we've been conditioned with the comic books and heroes since our parents were kids, that the guys were always just these big buff tanks, and female superheroes didn't have to be. They never had to be. Wonder Woman was in good shape. She was, she was a petite, not petite, but she wasn't out of shape. But she was no.
Talking Linda Carter here? Are we talking Linda Carter?
Well, no,
or are we talking
I'm talking comic books.
Comic book Wonder Woman. Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about back to comic books. Like, she was never a Superman. In my opinion, it's conditioning. And you can look at, if you want to go TV, you can go Xena the Warrior Princess and her counterpart Conan. Xena was never going to be as in good a shape as Conan. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. And they didn't push for that either, because it never had to be a thing. And then as we move forward, as we keep going with these hero movies, these hero tropes that we're doing, it's already been conditioned and put in our brains that these guys are going to be giant muscle men, because they always have been. And the women basically never have been, but they've always been heroines. I mean, Rogue is insanely strong in the X-Men, if not the strongest of the X-Men, but she's not muscular at all. She, in the X-Men cartoon, the first round of the X-Men cartoon, she was just sexy. And I think a lot of comic books throughout time have pushed for women to be sexier and sexier over the years, and guys have just gotten more muscular and more muscular. And it's a common thing. Women have never needed to be muscular. Now, granted, we're not going to see like, some giant, like juggernaut of a woman come out and be a superhero. It's just never going to happen. But with the guys being able to get into this shape that we've seen over the years, and even getting bigger now with HGH and all the stuff that they're doing to get these larger than life physiques, the women are just kind of taking the path of it's honestly, it's kind of an easier road. And I hate to say that out loud. It's an easier road because it's already been outlined to be an easier road. They never had to be buff and in shape.
Mm-hmm. So does that mean then that it's a fair criticism to say the female action star is not in as good a shape as the male action star, or do we just have to accept that? Or is that okay? Or is that the way that it should be?
It's okay. I don't think that we need to have, more muscular women or anything like that. They have to get in shape. I think we're just pointing out like a little bit of a double standard, I guess. Why?
I like it. It is double standard, and I like it for believability. Like I'm with Eric on that too, because now as we move towards these much more realistic looking TV shows and movies, even though they're obviously sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that, like I would like my female heroines to look like they could actually do some damage, opposed to just being super skinny like Angelina Jolie.
Right. Well, yeah. Like, how did you put it, Gus? If you
scrap for a living,
you scrap for a living.
Yeah, if you scrap
you need
for a
to
living,
look like you could scrap. Right.
You need to look like you can scrap.
Right. Right. Well, I think that's fair.
Gals that are rough necks, right? And like, no, I do. I know some gals that get like, no, yeah. I mean, get it. No, for
Dude,
real.
Think about a movie we all just watched recently, the new Roadhouse. Look what Jake Gyllenhaal just did for that movie.
Right.
Leveled up.
Holy fuck, bro.
Right.
You know?
Right. So,
I mean, do you have a theory, Alex? Did you have a theory, or?
I mean, I think I mean, I think the pieces of everything that everybody's saying. I don't think it's any one thing, but I think what Joe's saying is absolutely true. That it's like, muscular fit women have never been part of the pop culture of what superhero women look like. I think Jubal's right that body types appeal to different genders, accordingly. Women like stronger, and men tend to not want a woman or be attracted to a woman who looks, like more like a man. And I think you're right too, that it's like, for a long time we've been hearing about, not just body positivity, but something like, expectations when it comes to women's body. We've been hearing about, Barbie, for 30 years now. We've been hearing about how it sets up a very abnormal expectation for how a woman should look. And so all of these things are true. I can't tell you what percentage of them have a bigger effect, but I think that they all have an effect that has led to this point.
If theory got no action.
If I could add something else onto that, and maybe I'm way off.
They got no traction.
I want to hear what Joe is going to say.
It's all good though. I love it, man.
The smaller the muscles, the lower the Starbucks sales.
Oh.
No. So on the same vein of what you guys were saying about like people being attracted to what's on screen, I think in that same vein, like dudes, we don't want to see guys that look like us on the screen doing cool shit.
That's true.
We can't do that cool shit. You know what I mean? And we don't want to see guys. And I'll be the first one to admit that I think guys in general have an overinflated sense of ego on what they could beat up. But I'll pull back a little bit from that. We don't want to see a guy on the screen who looks like somebody we could beat up doing.
No, I agree. I don't want to see Seth Rogen and Louis C.K. in a fist fight.
No, but I want to see. I want to see, for me anyway, as a person who doesn't even like the television, the only reason I turn it on is for you guys, and half the time I don't even do that, and I come up with some bullshit. So, so straight up, like I have this whole analogy for why I didn't watch the Star Wars. What's it? Acetone.
Acolyte.
What is it? Every time I saw it, I was like, "Is this shit about welding? Is this shit about painting?"
It's called Starbucks acetone.
But hey, like after this conversation, though, I think I kind of want to see a superhero show, a movie about like couch potato superheroes.
I kind of want a Starbucks.
Dad bod superheroes and shit.
Bro,
like
could you imagine a superhero movie with the fucking 5 of us being the heroes?
No, here's the thing.
I think they made it. It was called Mall Cops.
I know a couple of us have seen it, but like I want things that look real to me, right? And like there's this movie or series or whatever. It's a series. It's Fada, right? I think I watched it with you guys.
Oh yeah. Fada. That's a good show.
And like what I really liked about it, I mean, the acting was good. I liked that like spy thriller shit. Like I like all that shit. The acting was cool. I liked the subtitles. It felt good. I don't even watch this. I don't even read the subtitles. I make them up. Like I make up what they're saying because I can't read that fast. So it's always even better because it's like my movie. So like
You can dub it, bro.
no, dude. No, I just make the shit up. Like it's been for years. I just make up what they're saying. It's a better movie. But like everybody is ugly in that movie, and the women are average.
Did you watch this with your jeweler?
Yeah.
I watched it with Jubal and with my what? With my
With your jeweler.
No, neither actually.
Okay.
And your blacksmith.
I'm still puzzled.
That's a reference that our viewers don't even get because we were talking about Gus having a jeweler before we even started recording.
I'm just very
For some reason, Gus has a jeweler, and none of us know why.
I thought everybody had one. I thought everybody had a jeweler that they could go to, that they could trust to talk about jewelry and things and have their jewels and their watches repaired.
Hey, why not?
I thought everyone had that. I thought that was just a thing. Everybody has a lint brush, I assume. And then the other thing is I thought that everyone would have a lawyer or maybe 3 that they could call and say, hey, can I run this by you? Or how much will it cost for this? Or can I do something in trade?
How do you hide a body as quickly as possible?
Yeah.
No,
how do you get blood out of leather?
No,
I was just gonna say.
Interesting fact. So interesting fact.
I need a referral to a leather tanner if you know anybody who does leather tanning.
I just thought everybody had these things.
What kind of skin?
Who here has a shoehorn? 2 people? 2 shoehorns.
I got a shoehorn, but I don't have a fucking cobbler, dude.
Yeah.
There's one in Oakdale.
I wish I had a cobbler.
There is. Yeah,
No,
there's one in Oakdale.
Okay, maybe I have one.
I believe you.
It's actually about 4 or 5 blocks from your house.
All right. I've got a cobbler.
Can't wear the dress shoes anymore. My feet are too wide.
I understand.
Do you have an apothecary too?
I feel like
because
in case you need some.
He wouldn't answer my question. I asked him a question. I was going to this acupuncturist. I talked to your mom about it, but she answered my question. I was going to this acupuncturist. Doesn't everybody have these things?
No, I don't drink a lot of potions.
What wares do you trade in, sir?
Dude, I thought everybody had these things. My mind's blown. Boom. I'm just gonna stop talking.
So we were talking about something pertinent. Hey, the Acolyte. Okay, Star Wars, the Acolyte.
So who watched it? I did.
I watched it. The first 2 episodes. Gus, you didn't watch it?
Gus, I'm talking to a jeweler.
All right, Gus, you can go first.
Jeweler.
Okay, so here's my jam. Here's my jam, and I'm gonna keep it really quick because I've talked a lot. So I can't do any Star Wars anymore, and it's not out of spite. It's like here's how I feel about all things Star Wars.
It's out of
like,
spite.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, like if I was a child and I went to some restaurant and I'm like 6 or 8, right, and I have this like great wet chimichanga for the first time, right? And I'm like, man, this is really, really good. And man, no, it's a world I understand. So just bear with me, Eric. And I'm like, man, this is really, really good. This is super cool. It's my first like, like sci-fi experience, right? A lot of our first sci-fi experience, right? And I'm like, man, this chimichanga is great. It's hitting on all levels, right? In my 6 or 8 year old head. And then I have that for like 5 years, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. And it's always really good. And it always hits on all those levels. And then it just stops, like the chef leaves and he takes all his recipes. And we go to this taqueria, me and my family, we go to this taqueria. And I was like, damn, man, I wish they'd bring back that wet chimichanga. It was really good, right? And I because I have all these childhood memories associated with it. And then other memories that have it's shaped all these other memories that I have about food. In our case, it's about film and sci-fi and cinema and storytelling and all this shit. And then like 20 years go by and they're like, hey, chef's coming back. Wet chimichanga's coming back. And you get it. I think that's called The New Hope. Is that The New Hope? Huh? Right? Is that
Phantom
the one?
Menace.
Oh, Phantom Menace.
Phantom
My bad.
Phantom Menace.
I know not this language. Thank you, Eric. Eric's my Google Translate for sci-fi. So like, and you're like, you get the plate and you're like, man, you know, it kind of looks like it used to, but was the chef on acid? Like, was he dosing when he made this? Because it's not very good, and it's not like the original, and it's weird, and like kind of sucks, and all kinds of weird marketing attached to it. Like this, okay, all right, well maybe it was bad, whatever. We all have bad days.
So part of it is like, when you're a kid, you like Chuck E. Cheese. When you're a grown up, you don't like Chuck E. Cheese.
No, that's not even it. Because I still want to like it, right? And then like they have some guest chefs that come, right? They have some guest chefs that come to the taqueria, right? Those guest chefs.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't you like not watched Andor or The Mandalorian?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. Those guest chefs are Andor. Those guest chefs are Rogue, and those guest chefs are Mando, and they deliver the old time chimichanga. Okay. But the restaurant only does that enough to keep you hooked on the garbage that they want to pump out. Mm. And then they just do that once in a while, and it's not very often. And then like a transnational corporation buys the taqueria that has weird ass ideas on shit. And every single plate you order, and the waitress like lectures you about how you're an awful person because, you know, whatever. Then you get the plate. And you get the plate and you're like, well, damn, I don't even like the meal. And you're jarring my face about how like I'm guilty of some shit. What's wrong with you, broad? Right? But then
she's mad because your chimichanga is not a vegan chimichanga, so she gives you
right. No, you know, it's like, oh, you ordered meat. Meat's murder. Don't you know? No, man. Like we've been eating it. That's how we got here. And that's how I feel about like it's not that I don't want to like it. I can't besmirch my soul anymore.
Mm. You want real sour cream on that, not vegan sour cream.
I want the chimichanga from my childhood.
I understand.
Okay.
I kind of understand. Like
I can't do it because it hurts.
Stories were different, 30 years ago. And there's a nostalgia factor there, you know. I get that. I understand that.
When I was a kid, Chef Boyardee fucking raviolis were the shit, dude. And when I became an adult, they turned into dog food, and nothing changed about Chef Boyardee ravioli, bro.
Yeah, they're exactly the same as they were.
Awful.
Yeah. So I think it's a mixture of both, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, on the one hand, yeah, stories are different now than they were back then. But on the other hand, that chimichanga that you ate when you were a kid was shitty. You just didn't know. And so when you have it now and you recognize that it's shitty,
yeah,
like, oh, this is shitty. How come it's not great? Well, because you're not 6.
But yeah. I rewatched all the Star Wars to make sure that like I like put my opinions in check, right? I do it a lot because I'm kind of crazy, and like, you know, I have kind of crazy opinions sometimes, so I'll like check them out. And like, I thought they were pretty good. I thought the original Star Wars were pretty good, like for the time. Right? I thought they were pretty good, and like, but that's me. But so I want to hear about it, and I'm going to shut up because I've said so much.
Well, let's jump to Joe. What'd you think?
I was fine with it, dude. Like the best criticism I've seen about it, and I told Alex before we started, was somebody put a meme out and like put up the main actress and was like, "You're telling me that this girl and her twin sister got separated when they were super young, and one got raised by the Jedi Council and the other got raised by some Sith Lord somewhere in the middle of nowhere on the opposite end of the universe, yet they both show up together in the same place at the same time with the same haircut and the same hair color? That don't make no sense." That's the best criticism I've seen of it. Everything else was enjoyable, man. I mean, I think, spoiler, but I think in our group text before this even came out, I had read that somebody called Trinity dying immediately, and she did.
Right.
Aside from that, I think they're building an interesting story. And again, spoiler because we're reviewing a show here. When I got Torben, when she goes after Lord or Jedi Torben, or Master Torben, he's showing some kind of remorse. He's showing some kind of guilt. So like, it's got me genuinely curious. Like now,
What
what's
happened?
going
Right.
on? Yeah, because we got one story from May, and we got one story from OSHA. You know what I mean? And Soul is also giving us a version of the story too. So it's building up. It's building up some suspense in my head. It's making me curious about where it's going to go. I kind of wonder whose side we're going to take in the end. But some of the aesthetics were kind of jarring in a way. I like how they do keep to the original transitions and stuff, which I always thought was kind of fun. But and I'm sorry for stepping on your toes, Alex, but some of the colors kind of pop out like more than I expected. And there were some other things. There was a couple things that really stood out to me of like, this is a show that's happening, this is a 2024 show, and some of this stuff looks like it's not 2024.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I enjoyed both episodes, and I'm curious to see where it goes, man. I'm not upset with it at all.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go real quick, and I'll say this: 5 seconds into the show, I was convinced that I was not going to like it, and I'll tell you why. There are two things that happened at the very, very beginning of the show. The first is they had blue text exposition at the beginning of the show talking about all some stuff. The Star Wars, you need to do a yellow scroll. Where's the scrolling text? If you have exposition at the beginning of a Star Wars product, you need to do the scrolling yellow text. The second thing is the first shot of the show was not of a starship. It was of the girl on the planet. To my knowledge, somebody else correct me if I'm wrong, every other Star Wars product that has ever been produced has started with a shot of a starship at the beginning of the show or the movie. It's always the opening shot is a starship. And what that told me was everybody involved in the creation of this particular product is not going to have an appreciation for the Star Wars universe because they missed those two pitches, and those were easy pitches. If you have exposition, you use the yellow scroll and you open with a starship. Like, that's simple, right? This is the tradition. This is how Star Wars has been done, right? But however, I will agree with Joe in the sense that I think that there were some interesting plot elements here. I can forgive the fact that May and OSHA look the same. They're supposed to be twins, whatever. We're doing the twin motif in this show. They have to look alike so that there can be confusion. Fine, whatever. I like Soul. I thought he was a really cool character. And I liked Carrie-Ann Moss for as long as she was in the show. She had the presence of a Jedi and the demeanor of a Jedi. She was like genuinely curious or interested in what May was saying to her when she challenged her to fight. And I kind of like the whole idea of a Jedi without a lightsaber. Like, how do you fight without a lightsaber if you're a Jedi, kind of thing. And it's interesting the way that they're doing that. I don't know that I want the entire show to be like that, because I would like to see some lightsaber fights at some point. But I will say this. I will say that I haven't made up my mind yet, right? I'm interested enough to keep going, but I haven't really been impressed by any particular aspect of it yet. But let's see. I'm still interested. Alex, let's go to you. What was your take on the first couple episodes?
I mean, like a lot of people, I went into this expecting, a complete dumpster fire
Right.
for all the same reasons.
But it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And it's like you, like you said, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. And as for your criticism about the yellow text and starship, I don't remember honestly how everything started. I don't know if the scrolling yellow text has ever been used outside the movie, the 9 movie.
Okay, but I don't think. But there's never been exposition at the beginning of a product like The Mandalorian. I think.
Maybe.
I don't think The Mandalorian did. But it always opens with a starship. That's Star Wars.
Possibly. But as far as the show goes, I was like, okay. As far as Carrie-Ann Moss goes, I'm almost 100% certain she's probably going to show up in some sort of flashback and we see everything that happened. So I don't think, even though she dies quickly, I don't think that she's out of the show entirely.
Agreed.
And so as far as, I'm kind of interested in the plot points, and it's got, like everybody else, it's gotten me kind of hooked enough to be interested in what's going to happen there. I didn't love it. There's certain things, and I was telling Joe earlier, the aesthetics of the show just kind of throw me off a little bit because, like, number one, everybody looks like they're just walking out of an LA salon with a brand new hairstyle, you know, and it's like the colors are like really bright and harsh, and so it makes it feel like it's on like a set somewhere, a movie set, and probably is. But am I supposed to think that it's on a set somewhere? It doesn't feel like a living, vibrant world. And for me personally, I'm not too big on the whole introduction of like kung fu, you know, into the Star Wars universe. I know that's like a personal thing. There's probably a bunch of other people who think it's pretty cool, but I just don't think it meshes well. The whole like martial arts style. I like the whole like, you know, Jedi have always had that certain kung fu monk aspect going, but the actual martial arts, I don't particularly like them. But that's just me. That's my opinion. And as far as the show goes, like I said, you know, I'll keep watching. And it hasn't done anything to make me angry at it yet. It hasn't made me super disappointed. And I'm interested to see where it goes. And I don't know how many episodes there, if it's 6 or 8 or whatever. But you know that there's still enough episodes to impress me, and there's still enough episodes to lose me. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Okay. Fair
Before we
enough.
jump into Eric, dude, you guys just made me think of something. If we get like, if the finale is May and Osha having a lightsaber battle with each other, I'm gonna fucking hate this show.
I'll watch it. I will watch it. I will break my own values to watch it. D-Mark and Tomax as like Jedi Siths fighting to the death, like Remus and Romulus shit, Cain and Abel shit. I'll watch it right now.
No.
All right. All right. Eric, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with everybody that Carrie-Ann Moss is bound to come back in some kind of flashback episode. I was telling Jubal that the second Jedi they killed, it was jarring because that was the fakest beard I've ever seen in my life. I did not understand why they put the fakest beard and hairpiece on. You know who that was, right? That was Tommen from fucking Game of Thrones.
All grown up.
Who?
That's just what Tommen from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
The meditating Jedi.
Yeah, with Tommen. So that dude's all but like 21 years old, 22 years old in real life. So they put the fakest beard and a hairpiece on him to make him look like he's 40. And Jubal, I think when I told him that, I think he came up with the best solution is because they're just going to take it off of him for some flashback episode.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
For what happened 17 years ago when those kids, when Osha and her sister were young, they're going to have Carrie-Ann Moss come back and Soul and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but fakest beard I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, who is this? Why is this? Why would you do that? You know. But anyway, that was one of the only things that was jarring. You know, like to me, because of all the hubbub around the show. I did start to count the white guys. It was kind of funny. There was no white guys for the first 20 minutes, and then she got on a prisoner transport, and all of a sudden there was 4 of them. That was kind of funny. Literally no white guys. No white guys for the first 20 minutes. She gets on a prisoner transport. Literally all the humans are white guys. all the criminals are white dudes now. I'm sure that was totally not on purpose.
That's funny.
Of course not.
That's
I'm
funny.
sure that was completely not done on purpose.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. You know,
All the violence, it's just coincidence.
You know,
nothing's
totally
It's casting.
Nothing
They're just casting.
the casting. And so there was like literally no white guys except for the criminals in the first episode. And that's what threw me off about Tom in the second one. And because when I saw the beard, I was like, oh, the first white guy, like that's not a criminal, right?
Why he's
And
brave.
I saw the beard, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a trans man or something. That's why the beard. Yeah. No, it's just Thomas.
Did he get killed?
So, yeah, he got killed, and he's probably guilty of something. So
Right, yeah.
still,
So
Over.
He killed
both.
himself.
So he's
Yeah,
clearly
so
a
over.
criminal. So
he's
so
probably
five
still a
criminals.
criminal.
5 criminals.
They're still over.
So yeah, white guys are still batting 100% on criminality.
They're 100%. I don't know. Maybe the guy who was protecting him, he seems like he was all right guy. No, it looks fine. It's like I think Jubal said, it's kind of like it came off as WB, kind of a WB.
It's kind of a low
Star
rent.
Wars
Yeah,
show.
it's certainly the lowest rent Star Wars product I've seen.
So,
Okay.
and
But it's honest, but coincidentally, it's the most expensive. Like it's more,
I
Really?
know,
more,
isn't that funny?
more per episode than The Mandalorian.
That's surprising.
And they're
Yeah.
and they're doing their stuff. They're
I didn't
doing
know
their
that.
stuff with their casting, again. I don't have a problem. Like, cast whatever you want, but it does. But like, also don't pretend that you're not doing that. Like, don't come out like and act like you're like that's so obvious what you did. That's so obvious, And then when they were like, "Oh, your mother's died," I was like, "There's so dumb." Yeah.
Wait,
Or
who's
some dumb bastard.
talking? Who was he talking about? Osha. That's right. I didn't catch
during
that.
the mother died. I'm like, not your parents, your mother's. It is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, you just proved all my points, bro. You proved
true.
you proved my chimichanga analogy, man.
That's what it is. So,
Just burned it in the.
but it was fine. It was, I agree with you guys. It was, I'm intrigued. I want to see where they're going. I don't know, the twin thing is cool. Would it have been cooler if it was like, she was dreaming or like, it was like a different personality. She didn't realize that she was actually committing the murders. I don't know, I don't know if that would have been cooler. I don't know, I thought Soul was amazing. I think that guy fucking oozes Jedi.
Right.
That guy just, he just comes off.
Yeah,
as
he's like half Qui-Gon and half Kenobi, like together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's great. And I guess he learned English for the role.
Oh wow, dude, that's
Yeah.
dope.
Fantastic. Carrie-Ann Moss, that looked like old hat for her.
Right.
It was effortless for her. That's why I do hope that we see more of her. That was easy for her. Even the Osha character and even that actress, she was fine. She was totally fine.
I did have a little bit of a problem. Like I had a little bit of a problem within this world where people get impaled by lightsabers and shit and get their limbs cut off with like a kunai knife. Just gets you like right there. It's like, oh, dead. But like lightsabers and shit, like
right.
fire.
Oh, it's like a ninja thing.
Well,
It's like a ninja thing, dude. I'll take it.
Because the lightsabers cauterize the wound at the same time,
Right.
so you can't bleed
But
out.
they're so hot that they melt the organs outside of the
Hey.
cauterized wound.
You were just answering.
Science.
So you were just brought the science in because that's exactly what. But no, I'm intrigued. I'll still watch. I want to know who the master is. 83% sure it'll be a white guy. The bad guy.
No. I think I know who it might be. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I hope it's Idris Elba just to piss you off now.
Side note,
That'd be awesome, actually.
watch
That
it.
would be
Dude.
awesome.
Idris Elba would be such a good Sith. Damn, that would be terrifying.
Yeah. Could you imagine Idris Elba as a Sith Lord?
The awesome.
He would be terrifying and win everything all the
I might
time.
break-
He'd be pretty good.
I might break it for that.
But,
Maybe.
All right, so I guess we're all in. We're all watching it except for Gus because it's not a chimichanga that he likes.
It's not a chimichanga like, but you know what?
It's not a wet. It's not a wet chimichanga that he had when he was a kid.
Can I,
Gus worked on a chimichanga story for last time that he told the chimichanga story.
I got two things. First, I've never heard of a wet chimichanga in my life.
Dude,
So
you don't know
you got
what
me
this is,
super
bro.
serious about
No, could wet burrito, bro.
Yeah.
Get some from a jeweler.
You've
It's-
never had a wet chimichanga.
No, I've had a fucking regular chimichanga with stuff like
Or a
what?
wet burrito.
I've had a wet burrito, but not a wet chimichanga.
I've never had a wet chimichanga either.
No,
Maybe they just call it. Maybe they just call it an enchilada.
No,
Like
no,
the,
that's a different
the whole point of a chimichanga is that it's deep fried. So they-
chimichanga deep
Right.
fried, and you put either red or white sauce on it. And the deal with the wet chimichanga is that you have
White
like
sauce.
no
I bet
red.
you put white
Like
sauce.
Alfredo.
Oh, did I?
Where are you eating?
But
It's
anyway,
like, oh,
you there, dude.
he's a cute
Oh,
motherfucker.
Burrow used to have, man. Wet chimichanga is great. You get the
Bro, this is
crunch of the outer shell, but then the complement of the sauce.
Okay,
pesto.
bring us a wet chimichanga on Sunday.
No,
Yeah,
man, I have a
Wait
treat.
till Sunday.
Sunday.
But you know what I really want to watch? I really want to watch Mr. Bueller's World. Since we're on the site, since Joe is now the resident scientist, is that a thing? It's like
What is it?
Bill Nye. Oh, Mr. Bueller, the science guy. That's what I want to watch. Sorry, I want to watch
Yeah.
Mr. Bueller.
I'd
the
watch that.
science guy. We'll
I'd watch
all
that.
I got stuff, but
Hey
the other
kids, this is how you carbonate your Everclear.
you know what, dude? You can put alcohol in a soda stream. It works.
I'm there already.
Yeah.
I'm charter member, man.
No, Eric reminded me of something though too. Before they had the reveal of the twin thing, I was actually asking Caitlin out loud, like, do the Jedi do astral projection? Could she be doing this through astral projection? 'Cause
Well,
I
yeah,
thought-
but it kills them. Look at
yeah,
Skywalker.
well, that's- well, I didn't know
See,
because I'm not.
it
I'm not
didn't kill him
a
until
No.
Last Jedi.
No, it kills Luke. He
Right.
could be better.
All she has to do is be stronger than Luke Skywalker, which is like easy for her, right?
Right.
Got
And in
it.
Disney World,
Any
he
Tuesday.
probably is.
Any Tuesday, man. Any random Tuesday. Taking off the 2-for-1s on Monday.
I think-
Skywalker, my walker.
I think we could put a pin in this one, gentlemen, unless there's any last words anybody's got.
Nope.
No, good Lord. Let's stop here while we can. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Tune in next week.